Janine Burns. I also welcome her, and I want you to notice how terrific she looks.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, yes, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I've been practicing extreme self-care, and I may have shrunk a smidgel digil. So good morning. I love coming to the New Thought Spiritual Center of Eastern Long Island. It's absolutely spectacular to be here. I just love the energy, and although you might think that I'm working for you, when I come here, I am so inspired and uplifted by everybody, and I just love the connection. So thank you for having me time after time. I think it's been over 10 years now I've been coming here, right? Something like that. So consciousness is everything. Oh, say that with me. Consciousness is everything.
Consciousness is everything.
Merriam-Webster defines consciousness as the quality or state of being aware, especially of something within oneself. Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind and author of the book by the same name, he defines it as mental awareness. Mental awareness. And so this morning what I want to do is talk about the idea of consciousness and as our spiritual evolution as a series of 4 stages. Now this concept came forth many years ago from Michael Beckwith. Ever hear that name? And from Agape, and they're now taught throughout the movement in various forms. And so these stages of consciousness have also been called a kingdom. Now a kingdom is a realm or region where something is dominant. So there's 4 kingdoms or stages in consciousness. The mortal kingdom or the why me stage, the metaphysical kingdom or the by me stage, the mystic stage, which is through me, or the master stage as me. Now, as I explain them, I want you to observe where you are. No judgment, just observe. Just notice. Stage 1, the why me stage. This is the mortal stage or kingdom. And in this kingdom of consciousness, we're actually more asleep than awake. At this stage, life is a struggle. We feel separate and disconnected and alone. We feel powerless, and we think that things happen to us and that we're a victim of circumstances and that we don't have any ability to control what's happening outside of our lives. And at this stage, it's all about something doing something to us. It could be the devil's doing it to us. It could be our enemy. It could be our numerological chart is off. It could be our parents, whatever. But whatever it is, it's a mindset of depression. It is a feeling of defeat. And when I talked to my assistant the other day, she said it reminded her of the character in Winnie the Pooh. That's not my generation. But apparently there's a character named Eeyore. Oh, good, see? And who had a defeatist mindset and a very negative attitude. So if we're dwelling in this stage or kingdom, we believe that the circumstances in which we find ourselves, every relationship, every failure, every challenge is because of something life has done to us. We know if we're in this stage because there's lots of drama and complaining. We think things like, oh, why does this always happen to me? Why is this happening to me again? And if only you would just stop doing that to me, if only you would change, then I'd be happy, then I'd be peaceful, then I'd be joyful, and on and on. You get it? You do? Okay, good. So the opportunity for awakening at this stage is huge. This is the opportunity to give up blame and to take personal responsibility for our lives and realize that we're not victim of circumstances. We're not victim of the fate or the economy or the weather or the political climate or anything. This is the opportunity to awaken to the truth. We are empowered beings endowed with the nature of that which created us. God, the thing itself, the creator of all that is, which is the ability to create, which takes us to the second kingdom, the by me or metaphysical stage. Now, this stage is very empowering because this is where we learn about our co-creative abilities, that we learn that we're not victim of circumstances, and we begin to realize that we're part of something bigger than we are, and that there's a law or a precise and specific way that this something works. It's called the law, and we can work in harmony with it. Ernest Holmes writes in the Science of Mind textbook on page 38, in case you want to check it out. We are thinking, willing, knowing, conscious centers of life. We're surrounded by, immersed in, and there is flowing through us a creative something. The sum total of all our thoughts, will, purpose, and belief creates a tendency in the law, which is the action of this power, that causes it to react to us according to the sum total of our beliefs. Ignorance of the law excuses no one from its effects. If then certain specific ways of thought and belief have produced limitation, other beliefs will change them. Don't you just love Ernest Holmes? Well, I do. We learn that things don't just happen to us, they happen according to our belief system. We learn that as we change our thinking, we can change our lives. We learn that we're creative beings, and this is the stage where we learn these amazing tools like affirmation, vision boards, treasure mapping. Shake your head. You familiar with treasure mapping? Oh, fabulous. It's treasure mapping is what you do is you put, you get let's say a big piece of oak tag, and you put on it something that symbolizes God to you. Mine has a big sun in the middle. And then what you do is you put pictures. You go into magazine, cut out pictures of that which you choose to experience in your life. Actually, I remember doing it years ago, and I wanted to do a wedding at a castle, and I ended up being put on the clergy list at Oheka Castle, which is walking distance to my home. So treasure mapping works because what it does is it programs your subconscious mind, and with the picture of something in it that reminds you of God, you realize that God is your source. Boy, that probably took a minute. I told you I was a little devilish today. Okay, so in this stage, we learn that things don't just happen to us. They happen according to our belief system. And so here is when we identify our dreams and goals. We're in touch with our desires, and there may be a divine discontent. And not in a, like, why me, or a mortal way, but in a way that we're being called. There's that within us that is calling us to be more, to do more, to express more. And we realize then that we have the ability to bring it about. Spirit, the divine, has planted a vision in us, and it's actually an echo of the universe that's longing to experience itself in us, through us, and as us. So the very life energy that's moving the entire universe, that same life energy is breathing through, breathing as you, has called you into being and has given you an idea of a greater life and is urging you to be more and to express more. So this is the stage. We tap into a dream or a goal, and we begin to learn to use the law of mind and to demonstrate like an expanded life experience. We create a mental pattern with pictures, feelings, words. Gay Hendricks, he's an author and speaker. He calls it the Newtonian way of being. And to go there, we have to, to go there to get it, we have to become aware of Newton's third law of motion. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Exactly. So when we launch an intention to answer the divine inspiration and to express God more fully, what can happen? It can bring out old limiting belief and thoughts and ideas. For example, we begin to say, I'm perfect, whole, and complete, and all of a sudden we have a headache. Or we say, I am prosperous, and then we find a bill from 5 years ago that we didn't pay for thousands of dollars. And so we have to become willing to clear the limiting beliefs, and as we do, we will get the ideas, because that's our direct inheritance from the universe, is divine ideas and love. And those divine ideas we will use to solve the circumstances. Now, at this by me metaphysical stage, we use creative visualization, we use affirmations to clear up these invisible barriers. And we also know the importance of releasing our dreams and our goals with the intention that it's in divine order. It will come at the right way in the right time, which, by the way, release is the last step in affirmative prayer. Everything this stage is really important. It's vital to our spiritual evolution, but it's not the final answer. Why? Because the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the results. In the final conclusion of Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes wrote, "I would rather see a students of this science prove its principles than to have them repeat all the words of wisdom that have ever been uttered." That's huge. You know, isn't it so cool to talk about this philosophy, right? It's the coolest thing in the world, but we've got to get busy and demonstrating it, which leads us to the next stage, stage 3, through me, or the mystic stage. Now, this is the stage of our evolution in consciousness where we surrender more and more to the divine. This is where we begin to release control. We give up our demands that things have to be my way or the highway, and we replace it with a sense of a personal relationship with something more powerful than we are, with the thing itself. And at this stage, this is when we really get, we're not just saying I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. We get, I am a spiritual being. I am having this human experience as a spiritual being. Ernest Holmes, again, you can't tell, that's where my training was Ernest Holmes. The mystic is one who senses the divine presence. So the mystic feels the energy and power of spirit. This is why we meditate. This is why we constantly work on our consciousness, our awareness, so that we can feel this indwelling presence. Not all the time. We are humans as well, not all the time. But certainly there's these intense moments where like, whoa, and we get it and we feel it. And this is, in this mystical or through me stage, it's a consciousness where we're going to let go and we're just going to be an open vessel for God, which is why I was the one who requested that song this morning, Use Me, God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide. And when you start with that consciousness, not only do you end up in the right place at the right time doing the right thing, but you're like, whoa, I guess I was supposed to say that to that person, and you're just, life becomes so much more alive in such a greater and greater way. Where we find we don't get so attached to a particular outcome. And in this relaxed receptivity, we're more available to our greatest good. And we in this stage, there's other spiritual tools. Now, there's a difference between visualization and visioning. Visioning is that idea that the universe wants to birth something through you. And so we ask questions as what is the universe's idea about my life? And so say, universe, what's my next step? Where must I go forward? What am I doing? And so rather than we talk to the universe this way, rather than for the purpose of manifesting, just nothing wrong with that, but it's a willingness and openness kind of prayer and consciousness. Back to Gay Hendricks. He calls it the Einstein stage because it's based upon Einstein's law of vibration. It was in 1905 that Einstein proved that we could break matter down into components, and that when we do, we move beyond the material realm into a realm where everything is energy. And this is the law of vibration. And it's a law of nature that states that nothing rests. Everything is in movement. Everything is in vibration. And everything, even this podium. But the vibration is such that it's so fast that it appears to be solid. Now, the lower the vibration of something, the slower the movement. The higher vibration, the faster the movement. So the differences in the various manifestations in our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual world occur because of the different levels of vibrating energy or frequencies. So feelings of fear and anger and resentment, victimhood, they vibrate at a very low energy, but feelings of gratitude and love and joy, they vibrate at a very high frequency. And so at this stage of particular consciousness, when something doesn't turn out the way we want it, rather than hanging out and, like, oh, this really stinks, I'm so bummed out, this stuff doesn't work, which is a low vibration, we're more willing to look closely at the results in our life and to get the message, to get the lesson from these things, and to see our true level of intention. You see, because the results we experience in our life tell us what our true intention is. Even though it's not conscious, it reveals to us what's in the subconscious mind that needs to be uprooted, neutralized, and eliminated. Stage 4. This combines the metaphysical stage and the mystical stage. In New Thought, Jesus is considered a master teacher. He had absolute union with the divine. There was no sense of separation, no distance at all. I'm raising the veil, right? I was like, yeah, this talk is going to so work out here. And it reminds, we may have looked at this stage as not attainable by mere mortals, like, oh, I'll never get there. And it's just, it's just reserved for people like Jesus and other high and holy exalted beings. And at this stage, we move through life with an agreement that we're always in the right place at the right time. We are in harmony with how things are. We keep focused on our higher dreams and visions, etc. We're opening to what now and remaining firm in our commitment to our highest purpose. And if we see any lack, we know it's just a place to call forth more of God and more of good. And so Gay Hendricks says at this stage, we deepen and realize our source of oneness. And I'm just going to jump over this let's try this part here. So I want you to just get for a moment how this feels. This is Gay Hendricks right now that I'm doing. And to feel that you're the source of your experience. So just notice, repeat after me, I make up my life. I am the source of my good. I am the source of time. I am the source of love. How's that feel? Does it feel good to try that on? Good. Then you're reaching that particular stage and level in consciousness, the ASME or the master stage. And so during our lifetimes, we're going to experience all different kingdoms, all different stages of consciousness. We're going to go back and forth, switching metaphorical residence, if you will, depending on the situation. So I ask you, what are you going to awaken to today? And I'm not going to ask that very much because I only have a couple of seconds and I want to tell you a very cool story. And that story is the story of Jenny, this little girl. And she went with her mom to the discount store and they're at the cash register and she sees these little pearls and she wants these little pearls. They're $2. So mom says, okay, you're going to do some chores, you'll earn some money, and you can buy them. So it took her a week, but she finally had the money and she got her pearls, and she loved her pearls. The only time she took them off was when she went swimming or had a bubble bath. Even though they turned her neck green, she was wearing these pearls. Then every night, she was ready for bed, and her father would come tuck her in. And he said to her, honey, do you love me? And he said, yes, Daddy. He said, will you give me your pearls? Oh, Daddy, not my pearls, but you can have Princess, the white horse from my collection, the one with the pink tail. That's okay, her dad would say. And about a week later, after story time, Jenny's dad asked again, do you love me? Oh, yes, Daddy, I love you, I love you. Then may I have your pearls? Oh, no, not my pearls, Daddy, but you can have my baby doll, the one I just got for my birthday with the yellow blanket and her sleeper. Okay, honey, that's all right. Daddy loves you. So a few nights later, Daddy comes in, and Jenny's sitting on the side of the bed, just forlorn, just a tear just rolling down her face. And he says, Jenny, what's the matter, sweetheart? What's the matter? Jenny didn't say anything, but lifted up her hand to Daddy. And when she opened it were her little pearl necklace. And she said, here, Daddy, it's for you. And so with tears gathering in his own eyes, with one hand he takes the pearls, put them in the pocket, the other hand he takes out and he pulls a beautiful blue velvet case with a stand of genuine pearls in it, and he gave them to Jenny. He had them all the time. He was just waiting for her to give up her dime store mentality so he could give her the genuine treasure. And isn't this a beautiful metaphor for you and I? We hold on to our limiting beliefs. We shut out the riches of life that are in store for us. And so I call upon you today to answer the call answer the call and step into the kingdom of the as me and the master stage. Live as the source. Be consciously aware of this. And as we do that, then we will truly be glorifying the amazing presence and power of God that we are. And so begins your lesson. Yeah. You want to pray? Should we pray? Should we pray? No prayer? No prayer?